Really? No, we're not closing. I'm laughing, but this is not a funny laughing matter. Welcome to another episode of Curing Chaos. I'm Pamela Mulholland, your chaos coordinator. And on this video, I'm gonna give you some tips on how to make your paperwork and your transaction go a little bit smoother. Look, paperwork sucks. But when paperwork gets in the way of your client experience, now that's a problem. You see, whenever your paperwork doesn't go smoothly, it's not a reflection on your TC or your escrow officer or some other affiliate you can point the finger at. It falls on you. It's a reflection of you. One of the worst things that can happen is your client's gonna have a poor experience. If your client has a bad experience with you, they're not going to return to you for repeat business, and they're not going to refer you to their friends and family either. I'm going to give you some very simple tips on how to make those annoying transactional issues go away and make your transaction run smoother. So the very first most annoying document ever is the AVID. So here's what's required with regards to the AVID within the first 7 days of the contract. The agent has to do a visual inspection of the property, whether you note it on the TDS, or you note it on the AVID, or you write it on a napkin. You still have to do your visual inspection at the beginning of the transaction. Now, what does a visual inspection mean? Visual means you have to be there in person. You can't send your 16-year-old kid to go take a few photographs and say, hey, mom, dad, there's a scuff on the wall. You have to be there. You have to look at the property, and you have to note what you see. You don't need to move anything, just what you visually see. Small TC tip here. Transfer disclosure statement, page 3, spot for your agent to do a visual inspection or to check the box that says AVID. If you check the box, now you've just made your AVID, AVID part of the transfer disclosure statement, the TDS. If you don't check it, then you have to write a visual note right there when that TDS is being completed before it's handed over to the buyer. Now, if you've no idea what I was saying, you know what? Then just call me. The last thing you want to do is waste your time driving 2 hours across town, go to the house, come back, forget to do your inspection. Now you're going to have to go back because it is a visual inspection. TC tip 2. So what I recommend to my agents is when you go in your home inspection as a buyer's agent, take your AVID with you. Use it on Glide. Whatever way you're doing it, go and do it on the inspection when you're right there and you're going through the property. Listing agents, do it before the property even goes on the market, before you have an offer, and then it's done. So another thing that's a slight irritation to us is getting the proof of funds to the right parties in the right time frame. So on the contract it states that within 3 days, the proof of funds has to be provided, or there's a little box that if you check that the verification of closing costs, proof of fund, is attached, you actually have to attach it, but at the very least you have to provide it within 3 days. So what that means is if you check that little box that says that the verification of closing costs is attached and you don't attach it, then you haven't provided a fully executed contract. So what's my advice to my agents? Well, my agents all have their crap together and they know that when they present an offer, provide it to me. I'm the one who's going to be handling it. And trust me, if my agents don't provide it, I will get it and I will hound you until I have it in hand. And I will remind everyone in the transaction that we need it. So, the third most annoying document in a transaction is the verification of property condition, the final walkthrough form. The verification of property condition is a 1-page form, and per the contract it states it's to be done 5 days prior to the close of escrow, which realistically does not always happen. And on that document, you should at least write something, even if it's no exceptions, nothing to note. Don't leave it blank. If you leave it blank, you're opening it to interpretation of someone writing something on it, worst case scenario. TC tip! So what I like to do in this situation, very low key, I will hound you. I will find you. I will track you down at your house until I get that form. But guess what? We're gonna close that property, baby. So I know that these 3 tips may seem minimal to most agents, but when they're not done, it's time consuming, it's a lot of chasing down, and it takes away from you making money. And that's where I come in. My goal with every transaction is to get the transaction closed with the least headaches, get you paid, and have very happy clients at the end. If you're looking for a TC that can help cure your chaos and get the job done, I'd love to talk with you. My name's Pamela Mulholland, your chaos coordinator, and thank you for watching another episode of Curing Chaos.